This is Chris here from Enso Martial Arts. Today I'm at the Bristol Academy of Sport based at the SGS College campus with boxing coach Craig Turner. Hi Craig, thank you very much for doing an interview today.
No problem.
Could we begin with you telling us a little bit about yourself and your background and how and when you started boxing?
Well, I started boxing in 1983 as a 10-year-old, and basically it was to keep me out of trouble and to keep me fit, and certainly did that. And we just extended on. My competitive career came to an end in 1988, unfortunately, due to a health condition. So I began coaching at that stage, and I've been very fortunate to work with some of the city's most prevalent boxers, Glenn Catley, Ross Hale, amongst others. And I've developed my coaching in that time to reach a standard of a national coach, regional coach, and now a coach educator here at SGS College.
Fantastic. Have you studied any martial arts, and if so, has it affected you and would you recommend it?
Always look at cross-training between martial arts such as Thai boxing, MMA, that sort of thing, to basically pinch ideas from them, to bring them to our sport of amateur boxing. And I'm absolutely sure that some of the martial arts do so, vice versa. There is an awful lot within strength and conditioning. They're huge realms, as I'm sure you'll agree. And there's a lot to be drawn from both sports, but particularly even Wing Chun, different defences and so on and so forth, different training ideas, even that of the dunning have been employed in amateur boxing and professional boxing before now. The two complicated complement each other incredibly.
So have you done any martial arts yourself, or has it just been primarily boxing?
I've always been primarily boxing. I dabbled with contact kickboxing for a little while. Right. And broadly, it just wasn't for me. Use of the legs just really didn't compute. And as you can see, I'm not as young and as sprightly as I may have been once upon a time. It just didn't work for me. Okay.
Can you tell us what keeps you interested in boxing after all these years?
Broadly, seeing young people succeed. You get a kid that comes off the street shy and nervous, or one who's equally offended or is in danger of offending, and you bring them to the gym and you work with them, confidence, positive outlet, positive release of energy and anger. It's all there for them, and it works so positively like no other challenge in the arena. The appeal of contact sports such as martial arts and boxing is that sort of tough guy. That acts as a hook, no pun intended, to bring the guys in, start working with them, and they become decent, solid people in the main. What is the current standard of boxing in Great Britain in comparison to other countries? It's absolutely fantastic. We've drawn from other countries, the stronger countries, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, former Russian Republic. We've drawn from them, we've learned our lessons, and I think now in terms of amateur boxing, Team GB is by far emerging as one of the top boxing, if not the top boxing nation, purely as a result of dedicated coaching staff, dedicated national coaches, and a wealth of international experience. That's great to hear. It's very, very good to hear.
Do you have anyone who will qualify for this year's Olympic Games?
Certainly not this year, because everyone that's here is in further education, 16 to 18 years. We're hopeful, touch wood, that one of our young ladies will qualify for China, the next Olympic cycle. She's current national youth champion. She's won 4 titles this year. She's just been selected for the England Talent program. Currently she's 17, so a lot can happen between now and then. But
4 years is a long time.
It is, absolutely, but we're quite hopeful. She is very talented, and we're hopeful that she might be selected.
So is she local to Bristol area, or?
Yes, indeed. She's a Bristolian, initially hailed from Indianapolis in the USA.
Oh, right, okay.
But mum's American, dad's Bristolian. So we're happy that she's in Bristol.
Oh, fantastic.
On our side.
Great stuff. Do you find that boxing is more suited to a certain type of person, or do you think it has something for everyone?
Would you believe the diversity that we've got in the clubs is absolutely phenomenal? We've got kids from the private schools, rubbing shoulders with people from the travelling community, all manner of race, there, and it knows no social or economic boundaries. Contact sports. In terms of sport, it's relatively cheap to participate in. And as I say, the guys, they get qualified training, they get a very decent facility at basically pennies. That encourages participation, anyone can attend, and there's that respect as well. It's classless in as much as it doesn't matter how much money you've got, how little money you've got, you're all one and the same in the gym.
Brilliant. What are your biggest accomplishments and the highs and maybe some of the lows if you had any?
Biggest accomplishments, certainly now I've produced 3 national champions, 2 England boxing champions, and 1 British Universities champion. I'm very proud of that. I think my biggest achievement though, personally, is since we started the program here at SGS College, no less than 4 competitive boxers have gone on to university education, having not planned to do so before they came. And to me, historically, boxers are the sort of guys who've got no choice, rough around sort of guys. These are superbly fit, intelligent people, and as I say, they dispel the myth of the thud and blunder. They've gone on to further education to be sports psychologists and physiotherapists, one of them. And it all links and works very positively for combat sport and the discipline it offers.
What would you say is the biggest positive influence boxing has had upon you?
I've met some great people in boxing. There's no better people to grow up around because they're honest and down to earth. I have to say there's a gentleman in Bristol, he now teaches, I beg your pardon, he now cleans windows for a living even at 76 years of age. Former number 10 lightweight in the country, a guy called Peter Richards. And he's forgotten more about the game than I'll ever know. And he really has to, not only to be a coach, not only to be an educator, but to be hopefully a decent person as well. And that's the truth of contact sport. There's no hiding who you are, what skills you've got. It's there for all to see.
Brilliant. What's the worst injury you have received through boxing?
The worst injury I've received personally is I kept breaking my skateboard in my hand. It's at the base of the thumb, and it's a pressure injury, almost a defensive injury. If you were to fall and put your hands out to save yourself, your hands force back and you break it. I've done it through boxing 6 times. Once while actually boxing, and 5 times on the pads because the pads forced the hand back and broken the skateboard. It's known as a boxing injury, and certainly one of the more prevalent managers in Bristol, Chris Sanagor, has got the same injury. He's had to have pinned. As a result of the same
so do you find it causes you any grief when you're coaching, or?
Well, being a tragic old man as I am now, during the cold weather it tends to hurt. And you're kind of aware that at any stage it could go again. It's such a fragile bone. But as I say, such words, I've had nothing more serious than that.
Brilliant. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody that is beginning their boxing journey now, what would it be?
Train hard, fight easy.
Easy as that?
Easy as that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your coaching career?
I'm led to believe I was one of the youngest level 1 coaches in the country because I had to stop competitively boxing. It's around about 17, I believe. I wasn't quite 18. So I was mentored by a wonderful guy called Kurt Ernest, who was the coach educator in the country at the time. And he was a national coach, very influential man, very knowledgeable man, ex-professional, actually fought for the British title as a professional, been all over the world with the Olympians and so on and so forth. So he mentored me until I was 18 and able to hold the qualification. I believe I was about 19 when I took the level 2. Appointed 21 signal regiment boxing coach around about that time, which was a voluntary post that looked great on the CV. Did a good job. I must have done because they never shot me. We gathered pace from there. I ran the St George Amateur Boxing Club, coached the police community clubs in Great Britain. I've done a lot of coaching work within the police force when I was a police officer.
Right.
And as I say, now I work for England Boxing as job welfare tutor, and also here at SGS College for the AASE program, which is the Advanced Apprenticeship in Sport Enhancements. Over the years I've worked with some really good boxers. The crowning glory of that obviously was Red Cat. It's the absolute pride of Bristol. I was very, very fortunate very early on to work as a pad man for them. And never hit me that often, I have to say. Sometimes he slipped, or did he? But, I worked with some great guys, and continue to now.
Brilliant. What are your aims and goals in training outside of training?
My aims and goals in training is to provide the kids in Bristol with the very, very best we can offer them in terms of knowledge, and in terms of equipment and everything we can get them. Nationally, we're seen as the poor relations down in the west of England, and I really want to dispel that myth. I want that to go. We have a wealth of talent, we have a wealth of very strong, gifted kids. With the right push can go certainly all the way. The times of any exclusion within sport are long gone, and we're still, as a region, trying to emerge from that. The main thrust of all my coaching and teaching as well is the kids are involved positively and not at the gel.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's great stuff. Thank you very much for doing the interview today, Craig. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.